Jamar Chase avoids the IR. Mike Petraglia inside Paycor Stadium. Here on Saturday, the big development was encouraging for the Bengals long term and their star receiver, Jamar Chase. Head coach Zach Taylor, after the walkthrough on Saturday at their indoor facility, announcing that Jamar Chase will not be placed on IR. Why is that? Well, a couple of factors. First of all, the timing. The Bengals bye week is coming up, of course, after the Panthers game. That follows the Cleveland Browns game on Monday night. So there's just 2 games remaining before the bye week. So that is one factor that plays in the Bengals' favor in terms of allowing Jamar Chase an extra week to heal. Also, the prognosis, according to Taylor, gives the Bengals hope that this injury is going to heal on its own with rest and with treatment. So the indication from Zach Taylor is, with those 2 factors in mind, there was no need to place Jamar Chase on injured reserve and place a specific timetable on how long he will be unavailable to the team. So the Bengals can manage it on essentially a week-to-week basis after the true healing begins for Jamar Chase. So that is very good news for the Bengals. In terms of the locker room reaction, Tyler Boyd spoke here on Saturday after the walkthrough, and he said that this team is not about to panic. He himself has been through this before. When A.J. Green went down in 2019, it was Tyler Boyd who was able to pick up the slack and have a tremendous season. But now, when you take a look at the receiving core, it's even deeper than before, and even deeper, of course, than 2019 with guys like T. Higgins in the wide receiver room. Mike Thomas has already contributed to the unit this season. And then you throw on top of that, you have running backs Joe Mixon, Samaje Perine, and Chris Evans could see a bigger role. And, of course, let's not forget tight end Hayden Hurst, who has already proven himself very valuable in terms of a passing target for Joe Burrow. I asked Tyler Boyd if he had been in touch with his good friend Jamar Chase, and he said, yes, I have been. He termed this injury, in terms of the way he got it from Jamar Chase, not super devastating. Jamar Chase isn't super devastated. He knows it's an injury, a nagging injury, but he will be back later in the season. That's according to Tyler Boyd, who told me that he had been talking to Jamar Chase. That's kind of the sense that he got, and that is certainly encouraging news coming out of the Bengals locker room here on Saturday. Other news developments regarding the Bengals and injuries. Keep an eye out on Eli Apple. It appears he will not play on Monday night in Cleveland. He is officially listed as doubtful on Saturday's injury report coming out of Bengals headquarters. So Eli Apple, even though he was on the rotational bike, the exercise bike, I should say, before practice on Saturday, he was not able to completely take part in all activities. He was in uniform, but he, again, is listed officially as doubtful. And that means more reps for one Cam Taylor-Britt. Of course, Cam Taylor-Britt played about 26 snaps in the 35-17 win over the Atlanta Falcons. He only had 2 balls targeted toward him. They were both completions, but overall, the coaching staff, Lou Anarumo, the defensive coordinator, very pleased with the way Cam Taylor-Britt has been able to pick up the defensive system and, more importantly, communicate with other players in the secondary and be in the right position to make plays. He's already shown himself to be a good tackler, both in practice and in that game on last Sunday against the Atlanta Falcons. So Cam Taylor-Britt could get his first NFL start in primetime on Monday night in Cleveland. Other injury news coming out here on Saturday, Logan Wilson, he is a go. He will be ready to go and play at the linebacker position after missing the last game with a right shoulder injury. That is good news. And also Trey Hendrickson. He obviously had to come out of the game in the second half against the Atlanta Falcons with a neck injury. He was in full uniform and practiced during the media portion of practice availability on Saturday. He went through all the drills as he normally does, and Zach Taylor indicated to us in the media availability after practice that Hendrickson would be good to go. So Logan Wilson, Trey Hendrickson, good to go for Monday night in Cleveland. That is all very, very encouraging. And though, to conclude, And to summarize, Jamar Chase not going on injured reserve for now. Bengals still very hopeful that he will be able to rehab his nagging injury, his hip pointer, or his hip injury, I should say, and it will heal on its own, and he will be back later in the season. We have highlights from Tyler Boyd's interview, post-practice interview in the Bengal locker room on Saturday. That is up on the Jungle Roar podcast YouTube page. Be sure to check that out. Be sure to follow all Bengals news on my Twitter page at Trags, Trags. And of course, we'll have you covered on clnsmedia.com. Inside Paycor Stadium, Mike Petraglia, CLNS Media.